Hello everybody, it's Ed0626 here, and what you're currently looking at is some aircraft carrier gameplay on World of Warships Legends. This ship in particular, as you can see on the bottom left, is the Hosho of the Imperial Japanese Navy. So, the whole point of this commentary today is to give you guys my experience on the whole aircraft carriers being implemented in the game, or starting to be implemented in the game, and hopefully giving some constructive criticism to the wargaming devs in hopes that maybe they make some very needed changes to carriers in the game. I do want to offer some backstory though as to the idea of carriers and how polarizing it is for World of Warships. I remember a long time ago when I was following a couple of different World of Warships streamers on PC when the game was very popular on there. They had a very big issue when it came to carriers being implemented. And I don't remember all the specific reasons because it's been a while, but I do remember that PC was very, very polarizing in what it did to the carriers were very polarizing in what it did to the PC community. Fast forward to the last year or so, all I've heard since World of Warships Legends released on console, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and I guess even the next-gen consoles, if it can move over to that, is that when are aircraft carriers coming? And it's literally started fights online in community forums that I am a part of, and to me, at some point, it just becomes pathetic, because these are now grown men complaining about a game and all that shit, but that's besides the point. I understand why, because I understand a lot of people were very disappointed in carriers being implemented in the game, and a lot of people moved on from PC to the console version of Legends, of World of Warships Legends, and they were really enjoying the game for a while, and now a lot of people are threatening to leave again. And really, to be honest with you, when it comes to carriers and when they're in the game, there's really no... I sort of like them. It's you hate them or you like them, at least as far as I have seen personally. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. To me, the whole point of this commentary is going to be what my experience was, what I think wargaming could do better and in the future, and how they could improve it. And I'm just being straight up honest with you guys. The first thing I'm going to tell you is, for me, carriers and the style of gameplay they offer and the amount of time it takes to finish a match with them being implemented in the game takes far too fucking long. They're boring. They're just straight up boring. I had like an okay time playing with them, but it's just like their play style is not conducive to what I like to play. And I played so much time with them that I'm watching this gameplay back as I speak to you all, and I'm just saying to myself, God, how does anyone thoroughly enjoy playing carriers in World of Warships? Because to me, at least how I started off playing, what I did at first was I sat all the way in the back of the map and flew my planes all the way to where I saw ships. Eventually my planes would either be shut down or I ran out of runs, and then I have to do it all over again, which would take an enormous amount of time, which was incredibly boring for me. I then kind of tweaked it a little bit, and I started off where I originally spawned, and then if I needed to move, I would move. So, which, in all honesty, did make my experience a little bit better. I can't say it improved all that much, but it did improve a little bit to the sense where I was like, okay, I actually enjoy this a little bit more than what I was doing now. On the flip side of that, playing against carriers, it's boring as fuck, because a lot of them do sit in the back of the map, and you have to go all the way across the map, which is a lot of time being taken off the clock, and you're just sitting there with your thumb up your ass, more or less, and you're trying to figure out, like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Like where is this fucking guy? Because the concealment is just so good on carriers. It really is good, and it's just it's annoying too at the same time. It's just really tough to play. And to me, matches reach the full 15 minutes for no fucking reason. And a lot of the times, it's carrier versus carrier. And to me, I find that dynamic boring. I really, really do find that dynamic boring to play in Warships Legends. It's really, really tough. Now let's talk about the different types of planes. You got the dive bombing planes, and you have the torpedo bombing planes. In all honesty, if you're going to play against a carrier, make sure you pick a ship with good AA, because the AA has been vastly improved in this game since its inception, which I always had a problem with AA kind of to begin with, but now I have AA is kind of more suited to what it was in the PC version. And in my honest opinion, when it comes to these planes, they're kind of weak. My honest opinion, they're just really kind of weak, and they really don't offer too much in terms of, you know, how many bombing runs can I get off without getting shot down, especially if I'm in an area with a lot of AA concentration. So it's kind of like you have to pick and choose your shots, and if you don't want to pick the obvious target with all the AA, you have to go and find an obscure target, which takes an equal amount of time, and that doesn't guarantee that any of your planes, don't get shot down in the process. It's just fucking boring. I mean, the torpedo bombers don't have a whole lot of damage to them unless you hit them in some really, really good spots, the ships, especially battleships and such. The dive bombers are a little... with all the problems with fucking flames in this game, because there is a huge problem with HE spam and the meta of that. I don't need dive bombers lighting me on fire after I just expelled a fire that cruisers were laying on me for God knows how long. I find carriers as a whole to just be one gigantic nuisance. That's how I sum them up, and my experience with them, playing against and as them. I just find them as one giant nuisance. It's just another thing to get annoyed by when playing this game, is that there aren't enough issues with the game already in certain regards. Now we're talking a lot more. Now we're just talking a lot of other things that are just incredibly annoying that are added into the game. It's just really tough. It's really tough to deal with. I'm not going to say my entire experience was that bad. It was horrible. Like, I did have fun in some regards. I didn't really get to play the tier 5 carriers, unfortunately. I would have liked to have gotten to do that, but unfortunately, other priorities were taking my attention throughout the course of the week that they introduced them. So I really didn't get to unlock them and do anything with that, which is a shame, to be honest with you, because I was really I was looking forward to seeing how those carriers would interact with higher tiers and stuff like that. I mean, there is a good shot with the dive bomber. I got 4K damage off that and a fire, but you know, if the battleship is smart, he'll just take off the fire with his repair team, and then you do that all for naught. So that's basically what I chalk up my experience in World of Warships Legends is. It's just one great big nuisance, and playing against them is prolonged for the sake of prolongment, which I find boring for the player. And the overall experience of playing with them is also boring, because depending on how you play them, you're flying across the entire map in order to find sometimes one singular enemy, if there is one singular enemy left on the map. So there's really not much more I could say. Like, at the same time, I understand why some people have the argument for, oh my god, you know, carriers were so influential in naval warfare back in World War II. They have to be implemented. And then I understand why some people who left PC because of carriers to this game now have to deal with PC, now have to deal with carriers on console, which they didn't want to deal with. I understand that. You know, there's sentiments with that too. I'm not too blind to understand that. At the same time, I will also mention that even when you find a carrier, because their concealment is insane, even when you find a carrier, their health isn't really all that great, so they're kind of easy to take out. Like, you just light it on fire and it's gonna go down. Like, there really is no repair team, I think, to help against fires with carriers. So that's good in that regard. As you can see, I'm playing as this, I think it's the Königsberg or the Nuremberg. I think it's the Königsberg. And I absolutely destroyed this aircraft carrier. He just got absolutely obliterated by my fire shells and my torps, which I think is what killed him. So they're incredibly easy to kill, but you have to find them first. And in that regard, I understand why a lot of people have issues with that. So that's all I have to say about carriers, man. All in all, a very boring experience from my point of view. If you have a different opinion or the same opinion, by all means, I'd like to have an intelligent discussion down in the comment section below. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching me today. And subscribe to me if you want to see more. And of course, check out all my links down in the description below. Hope you guys have a good day. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.